Yo guys, Coach Theo here on Common Sense. Today we're going to be talking about the worst drug there is. Junk food, worse than heroin. It might not actually be worse than heroin. I mean, I think in some ways you could argue that it is, but the point here is not really to do some kind of scientific comparison, like, oh, which one is actually worse factually. No, the point is just to change the way you look at junk food. And a lot of people already following this channel will find themselves agreeing with the statement that junk food is like a hard drug. But there are still useful ways that you can update your mindset about it, change the way you look at it even more. That will help you, make it easier for you to stay away from it, or at least start doing so. Before we start, please like and comment, subscribe, all that cool shit. Okay, here we go. A lot of people, they see it as something like junk food, that it has to be part of their life, you hear that, if I want to lose weight, I don't want to be on a restrictive diet. I don't want to feel restricted. I want to be able to eat the things I like, But who would describe their diet as restrictive if it didn't contain cocaine and heroin, right? It might seem like, that's a completely different thing, but really, it's something that really just gives you a high, temporary high, and takes something away from you, makes you addicted, is going to damage you if you keep doing this somehow. And do you think a caveman that was a hunter-gatherer kind of person, a human thousands of years ago, do you think they felt restricted because they weren't eating donuts or French fries deep fried in canola oil? Of course not. Of course not. But it's the difference between something like heroin and junk food is that one is more socially acceptable. Of course, has to do with the legal status as well. But really, imagine this, you're someone that either starts with some kind of lighter drug, and then you have to increase your dose to even feel something. And the dose that initially gave you high, made you feel good, it doesn't. You don't feel anything anymore. You need more. Or that you go to some kind of harder compounds and the first drug you started with just doesn't do it for you anymore. It's exactly the same with the junk food. You would never, if you hadn't been exposed to these harder drugs in terms of food, you would never feel like something is missing. You would be very happy just eating whole foods, right? So you have to start viewing it like this. You have to see it just because other people do it and it's more socially acceptable. If you want to become the best you have to be looking at things differently. Okay, you just because it normalized doesn't mean that it's okay to do. It's up to you whatever you do, of course, but you shouldn't feel as if this is something that's it needs to, everyone else is doing it. Oh no, I'm restricted if I don't do this. No, you have to see it for what it is. It's actually just a very normalized and not as stigmatized hard drug. And I would argue again that in many ways that it is worse than, I don't know heroin specifically, but when you think of certain drugs, you could actually come up with, like something like cocaine. I think someone could theoretically, I'm just playing, this is all philosophical and that, so just don't think that I'm trying to tell you that you should be doing drugs or responsible drug use. I don't mean it like that. But I think you could argue that some of the highs you get from certain drugs could make you productive, could actually help you perform certain tasks better. And some drugs, at least, it's not so much that the compound in and of itself damages you, it's just that you get addicted and you put yourself in situations that are not good for you, and you prioritize this drug over everything else. And that, of course, many drugs will break you down as well, but just compare certain things. I don't know what you know about drugs or whatever, but just playing with the idea that you could take something that doesn't really damage your body so much, that changes your state, so you feel better, but also maybe you're more productive, or more energy to do something, right? And then it's more like if you get addicted, then that's going to come with a whole bunch of problems. But see something like junk food. What is the benefit of junk food, really? What is it that is so great about this high? It's nothing, really. It's the actual high is very short-lived. It's my dopamine is just exploding when I'm feeling this good taste in my mouth. But then very often afterwards, you not even feel good about yourself that you did this. You might I guess part of the high is just that the discomfort you were experiencing before, if you were hungry or craving something, that's gone. So really the high here is intense taste in your mouth, and then the absence of certain discomforts, but probably combined for a lot of people, because they of course know that this is not good, that they should not be doing it, and maybe even try to lose weight, and you're just going to feel guilty and ashamed about it. And it comes at such a high price. This is again not saying that drugs are good, that they don't harm you. Many of them do, most of them do, right? But just look at how much getting very overweight from junk foods damages you. Like, first of all, you're carrying around all this extra dead weight that's just going to have a big impact on your joints. You might get just knee issues, back issues, or something like that from it. Of course, diabetes, heart disease, just a ton of different things, depending on, because of course with the junk food, it's not all this dead energy only. Depending on what your hyper-processed junk food of choice is, they're going to contain all these artificial compounds. You might get cancer, you might get all kinds of sorts of problems from it. So my point here is really that not only is junk food like a hard drug, it's such a crappy high at such a high price, really. Yes, but the good news for you is that you can get rid of this junk food addiction. But the first of all, you have to just start looking at it in a different way. Like, even many people that know, it's not healthy for me, it's not really good for me. I realize that it's kind of like a drug. But you have to look at some ways you're probably still holding it to a different standard than you would many other drugs. Like many things that you would never even consider doing. You still consider this. It's still an option for you, even if you know some of these things, right? So you really have to change your mindset about it. I'm going to tell you how you can achieve this removal of the junk food addiction, but I just want to tell you what has happened to me from doing this now. That when I don't judge people, like I will on my channel here, of course, I will say what I think and what you should do, and I won't be lying and tell you, no, it's fine that you're fat and eating all this junk food, because I don't hate you for it. It's just like, I won't lie. I will tell you the truth because I love you. But when I'm around people at a party or something, when I see these bowls of chips, all that kind of stuff, I don't, to me it's as if I'm seeing the dog's bowl of food, or as I'm seeing drugs, that I'm like, nah, I don't do drugs. I don't do drugs. No drugs for me, actually. And how you accomplish this is, of course, like with anything, just staying away from something for long enough, you will, of course, lose an addiction. It's really time, being away from something for long enough. But the fastest way, how it happened to me, is like, for you, some of you guys already know, but if you're new here, I had different kinds of problems, addictions, weed, alcohol, porn, women, video games, and junk food. So junk food was one of my vices, but I was never really the big fatty, and it was like my main thing. It was just one of my things. But so when I started changing my lifestyle to a healthier one, it was definitely something I did struggle with, staying away from junk food and beer, I would say, like some alcohol, because that's also a food and a drug at the same time, right? But I had to use a lot of willpower, and every now and then I couldn't really, when I was tempted, I would have something, But it was really when I started doing prolonged fasting. I started my first 5-day fast, and I just experimented with a whole 48-hour fast, 3 48-hour fasts in a row with just eating once in between. A 72-hour fast, a 72-hour dry fast, 1 meal a day in the morning only for a month, eat the alternate day fasting for a month. Like, I did all these different things, and I did content here on about it, and I planned my refeed so much. And what I noticed was, when I went back to doing less fasting, I just noticed that, okay, not only is hunger not that big of an issue, like I don't really get hungry without having not that I have an absence of appetite. I just don't go around like, I really feel like eating something. And even when I do, it's just not that big of a deal. I'm like, apparently I'm a little hungry. Well, I'm going to eat in a few hours. It's fine, But mainly, the big thing here is that all of a sudden, regular food that I would have described as boring before, or plain, too plain, they started tasting amazing. Just eating some potatoes and a nice steak, some butter and salt. I mean, I think a lot of people could think that's decent, but that was really like, amazing, you know. And then when you start switching your like treats from some like, I don't know, yeah, donuts, some hyper-processed like baked goods like that, to something like, oh, I have some, after my dinner, I have some strawberries with honey and whipped cream. It's like, it's amazing. And you find yourself, because you know how much better you're feeling from this lifestyle too, and you're enjoying what you're eating so much, so you find yourself thinking like, why would I ever want to go back to these junk foods? Like, I can think about things I find tasty or used to, and it's like, it's just not worth it. Like, okay, I get to experience a little intenser, more taste than usual at such a high price if I keep doing. No, I don't think so, you know. So it is very possible to get rid of this addiction to this hard drug that junk food is. Again, no caveman that ever was exposed to these hyper-processed junk foods would describe just regular whole foods as boring or plain, right? That's how you know. If you feel that way, that's how you know you have, there's of course degrees to this, but some kind of problem with junk food addiction. But the good news is, yeah, you can change it. And of course, from all my experimenting, I have created routines for weight loss, but doing this using the fasting with the refeeds on whole foods to reverse the food addiction too. So if you're, I have more content about it. You can search the channel, but I also do coach. I have different programs. So you can reach me on Instagram or email. It's in the description below here. If you're interested to know more about my different coaching programs. And yeah, that's really it for this video, guys. Please like and comment, share your experience. What do you think? And please subscribe for more content about fitness, fasting, losing weight, building muscle, self-improvement, stoicism, mental health, philosophy, spirituality, mindset. It is a mindset, guys. You gotta update it when it comes to junk food. It's not just food. It is a drug at the same time. Okay, peace.